All right, we are back. It is time for pick number 6. Kobe Price is joining me to talk or to represent the Orlando Magic in this mock draft. Before I put you on the clock, I want to talk a little bit about Orlando this year because 34 and 48, obviously the number 1 pick last year when we did this. Paolo Banchero led the team in points, rebounds. He was very good. There's 8 guys that are averaging 9 or more points. I guess 6 guys averaging double digits. A lot of good pieces for this Magic team. What did they lack this year?
I think the big thing that, whether you're a fan or you can just watch the game, you can tell that they lack shooting.
Okay.
That's one of the biggest things. They've lacked shooting for a few seasons now, just being one, bottom, I think it was bottom 4, bottom 5 in shooting this past season. Same was the case for the 2021-2022 season as well. So shooting is the big thing. And then also, rim protection as well. Those are 2 areas that, especially when Wendell Carter Jr. was either out or not on the court, the rim protection and the ability to just not allow shots at the rim that just took a big hit. So, or a convert shots at the rim rather took a big hit. So those are 2 things that, you kind of want to bolster, whether it's in the draft or free agency, for them going into next season.
Okay. That being said, let's get to the juicy part. I'm putting you on the clock. Kobe Price drafting number 6. The Orlando Magic are taking.
Yes, with the number 6 pick, the Orlando Magic are taking Ausar Thompson from Overtime Elite. And I understand that I just said that the Magic need shooting and rim protection. And people will be wondering, so why did you take Ausar Thompson?
Wing.
Yeah, a wing. A wing, a 6'7", 6'8" wing. The big thing for me with him is that you may not look at him as like, oh, the Magic need this kind of player, but he still has a skill set that can be very beneficial for the Magic. And I think a skill set that, if with the right coaching, the right development, he can be a significantly impactful player. And I see a skill set or just the tools of a borderline all-star just by watching him play, watching him navigate space. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm saying I can see it there. And the Magic are in this really interesting position where they already have a foundation set of, like you said, Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr. You go on down the line, Markelle Fultz, Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs. Like, you keep going down the line, you said there are a lot of good players here. And the natural inclination for a team like the Magic is, let's go for the right fit. Let's go get the player that's going to fit the best in this. I know we're going to probably bring this up a little later. They have the number 11 pick as well. Maybe there you go for a fit. But in a draft like this, where you do have a lot high in talent and, somewhere in this 4, 5, 6, 7 range, like, I think is worth taking a swing on a guy who has potential to, grow into a special player. The athleticism is there. The defensive versatility and ability is there. The feel and playmaking to me is one of the biggest things that jump out about him. I think he can be a really good playmaker, but also a good connector playing off of guys as well. So I know there's a lot he needs to improve with the shooting and the consistency, especially defensively, staying low in a defensive stance. But I see a very intriguing skill set. Something that if I'm the Magic, I can say, you know what, with our development team and our coaching staff, we can get him on the right track to, maximize his potential. And, and you're in this position, that's what you want to do.
For sure. No, for sure. It's an interesting one. And if you're watching this and you're not too familiar with the draft, this is the twin brother of the number 4 pick from our mock draft. Not saying that's where he will go. And he went to Houston. But this twin, good athlete, good court vision, or they say great court vision. He's a lot more physical than his brother, probably a better defender. So if the Magic are looking at that, and it's a really good point to bring up that maybe he's not the best fit, but I do think he is the best talent at that number 6 spot, especially with the draft that we have right now for our mock draft. And you made a great point that the Magic do have an opportunity to go best talent here and then try and get another fit because they have another lottery pick. And we'll talk to you in a few days regarding that number 11 pick. But I like this pick a lot for the Magic. Is there anything that scares you about him in terms of fitting in with the talent that's already in Orlando?
Yeah, I don't know about scares. Well, first off, before I even say that, it took almost everything within me to not draft Taylor Hendricks here. In terms of talking about fit, I really like his game. I know that, you know, the Magic already have Franz, Paulo, Wendell, and, you know, they have other front court guys. You wonder, well, are you going to draft a guy number 60? You may not start, or you play this big lineup with Wendell, Taylor, Paulo. Like, he's so good to a point where I just will almost just take him and say, I'm going to figure it out, because I do see a great skill set there. But with Ausar, is just, I could see like the high end of it, the long-term upside is so high with for him, at least in terms of my eyes, that I think it's worth taking a swing, as much as I like a guy like Taylor Hendricks. The things that I guess would concern me about Ausar would be, the first off, I guess, starting with the shooting.
Yeah.
That, you know, I said it earlier, the Magic needs shooting, and right now he doesn't project as a plus shooter, at least not from day one. He did show encouraging signs in his second season in overtime elite versus first season. I think he boosted his 3-point percentage by somewhere like 7 to 8%, then going from 22 to 30. Even his free throw shooting got better, and I know in the playoffs he shot very well. So there are encouraging signs that, you know, he can improve in that regard. He already has. His mechanics have changed a little bit. They're much
Tough to not improve from 22%, Kobe. Let's be real.
Well, Sam, but some people don't. Some players don't. Or if they, you know, if they improve a little bit, they may not improve their free throw shooting as well. So he's starting from a low point. However, to see the improvement, it's better to see the improvement than not. I'll at least say that. If he went from 22 to 24 or 25, I'd be like, oh, okay. But there are encouraging signs with it. And also, I mentioned the upside. A big part of the upside for him is going to be more consistent, or being more consistent with creating his own shot and finishing at the rim. The tools are there. I just think that some of the reps he needs to change up, you know, better angling on his drives, you mentioned he is more physical than I'm in. I think being a little bit more physical and just, like I said, more angles than anything else. The athletic ability is there. The quickness is there. He's not the same level of athlete as his brother. His brother's like a super athlete. He's a super athlete, but I think the things that I guess the concerns or things that you know needs to work on, I think they're either coachable or things that with reps and with time under the right development system, I think he can definitely iron them out and turn into a very impactful player on both sides of the ball. And I know it's something Magic really value: a two-way player, a two-way wing who can be a connector and be disruptive on the defensive end, and, you know, enhance what you already do. Like, that's a special player. And I'm willing to, at 6, and knowing to also have 11, I'm willing to take a shot on a prospect like that.
I like it. I like it a lot. And just something to remember, if you're not necessarily an Orlando Magic fan, they did have the number 1 pick last year. They had the 5 pick the year before, where they got Jalen Suggs. So they're used to this, like, 1 through 6 pick. So they know how to develop. Obviously, you see that with Jalen Suggs. Obviously, you see that with Paolo Banchero, but that was the number 1 pick. So we will see you again in 6 days, I guess, or in 6 picks. Thank you so much for your time, Kobe, and we'll talk soon at the number 11 pick.
Number 11, appreciate you having me on.